All right, you guys ready?
Yes.
All right. Are you sure?
That person that
Are you
Are you sure?
Josh, are you ready?
Probably not.
All right, here we go.
We're gonna go anyways. What's this called? Did we decide on Generation Next? Generation Now?
Generation Now.
I like
Generation Now podcast?
Generation Now. I like
Generation Now podcast.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, welcome to the Generation Now podcast. My name is Josh. Joined with me are, I'll let them introduce themselves.
I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Ben.
All right, we are here at Living Word. We are in the youth facility, the youth space. And I'm just sitting here with some of our interns here at Living Word. And we just kind of wanted to do this Generation Now podcast. We're calling it that because, I mean, honestly, our department is called the Next Gen department, right? And I get it. A lot of churches use that. I think it's good. It makes sense, right? Logically, it's like youth and young adults. But I don't like the term because it makes it seem like you guys are like next, like the next people to come. But really, it's like you got now. Like this is your generation. This is your time. Millennials, we had our chance and we probably didn't do a great job with it. But now it's your chance to make the world better than what us millennials did with it. So I'm going to start with this podcast, just kind of talking about this internship that you guys are doing. We just started this new season of life for you guys. You graduated high school just in the spring. You did a year ago. What made you guys want to do this internship?
Well, yes, I'll start. I was here a year ago interning under Pastor Dustin. It was just me. And I was approached with...
It's part of it. Just roll with it. If they heard that,
question.
That's the youth ministry here. We've had that annoying AC that's gone off since I was in youth. That's always been a problem. So we'll just go with it. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's
Go
good.
ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I just I got asked to be part of this and do the internship this year, and here I am. All
right, you sound very excited about it too.
I am, yeah. No, I love it. It's really fun.
All right, Ben, what made you want to do this?
Well, a couple outside sources told me if your church is offering an internship, why wouldn't you do it instead of like going straight to college and, spending a ton of money that you don't have and maybe finding what you want to do, but not totally sure. And so I just I thought about it and I was like, okay. I was also asked to be in this internship. So clearly like people want me here, right?
Yeah.
We do want you here, Ben.
And so
and God wants you here too.
God wants me here.
More
so
importantly.
I just kind of figured out that it was more my calling to be here than anywhere else. So
that's awesome. We've talked a lot about in this internship year, committing to this season and being a part of, like, if you're here, you're all in, you're doing you're trying to get what God has for you in this season. What does that look like for you? When I say, when me and Pastor Dustin kind of said early on, like, if you're going to do this, be a part of it. What does that look like for you guys?
You want to start?
Well, I mean, it's giving a lot of your time to God to be able to grow. And I guess really just trying to get the most out of it is doing the light homework that we have every once in a while.
I don't give that much. No. It's not that hard.
It's not like Pastor Dustin's kids' homework, but no.
His kids' homework is hard?
Yeah, he's always talking about his
Have you heard
homework.
about
but they're like
every day,
5 and 7 or something like that.
One of his daughters has to memorize 14 verses a week.
Yeah.
No way.
Crazy.
Maranatha's crazy.
They're intense.
They don't mess. I mean, they make great students though.
Of course.
I mean, I graduated from MCA. You graduated from MCA.
Yeah.
I'm sure. What high school did you go to?
Zimmerman.
I'm sure Zimmerman makes great students too. I'm sure people that come out of Zimmerman High School are great. They're fantastic people. But we know MCA for sure definitely does. 14 verses a week though. It's
heavy.
It's heavy. Look, and I was raised in the church and I preach on a consistent basis. I have a lot of scriptures memorized. I don't think I have 14 verses. Like completely memorized, like not missing a word, reference and everything. I'm asking you like they're not your kids. They're Pastor Dustin's kids. I'm asking whoever their teacher is. Is this really what we're asking them? That's, I mean, good for them. Good for them. I'm sure they'll be better for it.
The Creed verse memorized for the internship.
Oh yeah, we should start. Did any of you guys memorize that yet?
I gotta practice.
So we had them, for those of you watching at home, we had them together, the interns, there's 13 of them doing the internship this year at Living Word. and they picked a verse for the year, a theme, and like a mission statement creed for the year, and they were supposed to memorize it. And I challenged anybody on staff here at Living Word, and you guys watching at home, call in if you have Ben's number and ask him if he knows that creed. Do either of you have that memorized yet? It'd be great.
I know the verse.
What's the verse?
Romans 8:28.
And what does it say?
All things work according to some. Okay.
Close.
I got.
You got 3 words. All things work.
You got this.
Something about
4
being
words.
called by God. All things work according to that purpose, like by which you are called to.
Okay, that's close. They got some work to do.
Close enough.
They got some work to do.
Enough.
Next week.
I just want
Next
to.
week.
You guys picked out the verse. You guys wrote. I didn't have anything to do with this. It's not like I gave you a verse
She was the scribe. She actually wrote it all down.
and she still didn't have it memorized. It's all right. No judgment. There's no judgment here. Grace be upon you. What were we talking about? I think you were talking about what
it
being
means
committed.
to me.
What is it? Oh yeah. What does that mean for you here?
Well, so I mean, it's really making the most of the community and just like all you can learn, all the opportunities that we're given here at like as part of the internship. So,
What are some examples of that?
well, I mean, some of us are learning keys right now. We're doing a social media challenge, like see who could get the most followers and the most views, like most people touched by it, and we get a nice congratulations for winning that, because Jeremiah said we get $150 at Pittsburgh. Woo.
Which is his own money. Just for the record, I did not say that we're paying.
I didn't know that was
is not-
happening.
He said unless
That is not coming out of the internship
Guys, I
budget.
might
That
need
is
to
not
do this.
$5.
Well, he said unless some of us, blow up or whatever, and actually like can take him to lunch. Because then I think it reverses then, and he.
If you
gets the lunch.
you got to set the
Okay.
limit. Like, what is it if my
right.
post does so good that now I'm taking you to lunch instead of
Exactly,
you taking me?
yeah,
You
I
need to
don't-
set that limit though. You need to talk with him.
Yeah, we'll have to
Because Jeremiah's going to try to get out of that, right?
Oh, I know.
Yeah. He's like, oh, you had 2 likes. You guys buy me lunch.
Let me be clear.
Oh.
Let me be
Not
clear.
how that works.
Oh.
Was that a Jeremiah impression? Is that what that was?
No,
Yeah.
no.
No, that
was
was-
a Caleb impression, but it's fine.
Caleb who?
Murphy.
Oh, McMurtry. Yeah.
McMurtry.
McMurtry. Jeremiah calls him McMurtry,
Yeah,
but I think
yeah.
it's technically pronounced McMurtry.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Oh, from kids camp. You were a kid?
No, actually. This was in Daniel's Bible study. He said, let me
Oh.
be clear.
He does it a lot.
Yeah. Slightly sounds like Obama.
Slightly.
Slightly.
All right, we're done with impressions for now. Kelsey, why don't you tell me what being committed to this internship year means for
Well,
you?
for me, I think it's really like showing up and being here, because I'm here a lot, 7 days a week. But honestly, just really making sure that I'm giving all of my time and like really being like authentic about it, and just getting as much as I can out of this, because it's such a blessing, like I always think about the people who don't get this, and like I get to be with like a bunch of really cool like leaders who just like they legit like their job is
Allegedly cool leaders.
like they just pour into you, like
Yeah.
that's all they do, and it's like I'm gonna just take that. And so I think that's really committing to the season for me, is like being here and like, okay, I'm ready to just learn.
Yeah, and kind of like when you're here, like actually being here. I know it's,
Yes. Yeah, I definitely last year, struggled with being late and on time, and this is much more like actually like official, guys. Like last year was like just kind of chilling here.
Yeah, we try to structure it and hold you to a little bit of a standard, or at least like understand what
Yes.
you're getting yourself into.
So I appreciate
But I
that.
think, in 2024, commitment's almost, if the word is used at all, it's used seen as a bad thing almost. I feel like in 2024, like
We're
we
in
don't.
relationship.
Yeah,
ones.
like I'm
Yeah.
afraid of commitment. Like I don't want to
Yeah.
commit my life to one girl or one guy, or maybe it's I don't want to commit to plans on Friday night because something better might come along. And let me just, so someone says, hey, you want to hang out? You're like, oh yeah, we'll see. Like, you coming by? Maybe,
Yeah.
And even being there, sometimes you're not really there because you're like on your phone the whole time.
Yeah.
Like that's a conversation that me and Jocelyn, my wife, have, is like sometimes we're in the same room, but we're both looking on our phone. So it's like we're not even committed. Like it's not
Right.
Yeah.
quality time. So what does commitment even look like in 2024 for you guys? Like
Like in what sense?
how would you define commitment? Like what is that? Is it you're here but you're on your phone? Is it being on time? Is it, do you do that whole like, for this internship? Doesn't have to be directly for that, but it's like, oh yeah, I'll maybe show up if I don't have anything better going on.
I think it's for me, like being committed, and what I would define it as is like just being present and like intentional, I think too. Like that's such a thing, like,
That's a good word.
you know,
That is a good word.
I feel like you can be here, but if you're like just sitting on your phone and you're trying, like constantly trying to like get out of it, like you're not gonna get anything out of that. Like, or just like in life in general. I mean, I think it's also holding yourself to that standard of like, okay, I said I would do this, I said I would be here, and like you want to be trustworthy. And I think like that trusting, like being able to be trusted and trustworthy, I guess that would be mine.
Trusted and trustworthy.
Yeah.
Both of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be mine.
Ben, what do you think? What do you think about the word commitment in 2024?
Honestly, I feel like I'm not that old, right? But it doesn't feel like it.
No,
seems,
you're not at all. You're 18.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, it doesn't seem like it holds as much weight as it used to, you know? Or maybe,
Yeah.
honestly, I think it's the other way around. I think it holds much more weight because I feel like, I don't know what caused it, but like maybe overcommitment in the past, like caused people to have no commitment nowadays, or like little to none. But, you know,
Yeah.
So I guess for me in 2024, to be specific, I think commitment is just putting one foot in front of the other and starting and then sticking with something. Like you have to start to be able to continue something. So
No, it's good. Is commitment still important in 2024? Maybe I should ask that question first.
I don't think as much as it used to be. Like definitely not, like, because it's highly encouraged today to like hop around and see what you like. And if you don't like something, you're just like, okay, I'm done, bye. Like, and so I think that's what also makes it very different here too, is like, you can't do that. You can't be like, oh, I'm going to see if I like this. And if I don't, I'm just going to hop out. Like, you know, because I think too, lots of times when we're committing to something and you get in like that moment of like, oh, I'm like bored and I'm not getting anything from this, I'm just going to leave. Like, you don't know if you actually really do like it, and like walking through that and walking it out, because you're gonna have hard things happen. So
when I was a kid, my parents made, I played sports growing up, and my parents made me, if I tried a different sport, they were like, okay, you're committed to this season. Even if my friends decided not to play, even if I didn't like it as much as I thought I was going to, or the coach didn't like me as much, I never had the option to quit mid-season. My parents were always like, okay, once soccer season is over, if you don't want to come back for your senior year, fine, you don't have to. But we're not just going to like go to a couple soccer practices, see if you like it, and then quit like that. Like, no, like we didn't do that. And I don't know, I'm sure you guys are different, and I'm sure I sound like an old man on a rant right now, but I didn't help my brother coach his son's basketball team this year, and they weren't good. All right, I'll take responsibility. I could have coached better, I'm sure. It's not all their fault. But I had a few of them like did not finish the season, like they quit because they weren't winning. Maybe they weren't playing as much as they wanted to. Maybe it wasn't as fun as they thought it was going to be. Maybe it was my fault. Maybe they didn't like me or my brother as the coach. But either way, I just blew my mind. I was like, you can just quit? Like my mom would never let me do that.
Yeah.
But 2024, maybe commitment doesn't have the weight that it used to.
I think, COVID. That was definitely
that
like,
ruined a lot of people's
being able to stay home.
And,
How did COVID switch this? I feel like we blame a lot of stuff on COVID in general, but like, well, how did COVID affect commitment? Why do you think it looks different?
I mean, I'll say this: I was cut from basketball sophomore year because the coaches had already committed to the people that played the year before, but I had a little baby sister, and my parents didn't want me to risk it playing sports and like actually having to go to school because everything else was virtual. So I didn't get to play freshman year, and that kind of took me off the roster for the next year too, because coaches like to stick with the kids that they've already poured into. So I guess that kind of.
I mean, I know for me it made me like really, I'm an introvert, and so I like got to be home all day and do all my work from home. And so like I just quit showing up to school. Like the next year I was like, I can just do this at home. I'm good.
Oh wow, so you it
really affected my commitment. I was like, I'm done.
A little rant here on COVID, because I'm an introvert and I wanted to be home, and I had friends and family members that are extroverts, and they're like, isn't this the worst that I got to be home all day? And for my job at the time, I was working the video department here at Living Word, and so when church shut down. We couldn't have in-person church. Everything went virtual. And all of a sudden, every department, every ministry wanted videos. And so me and my team had to work here every single day, long days, talking to different people, everybody coming in. And I just remember wanting to hit some extroverts when they're like, oh man, I don't get to see anyone. I'm like, I see way too many people. So I'm a little bitter about that still. I'm working on that. But everybody else that got to and you hear all these people say, oh yeah, COVID forced us to slow down. And I'm like, no, COVID was a lot more work for me. And then life went back to normal and everybody's like, okay, and I'm like, well, no, where's my break? Can I stay home? Can I work from home for a little while? But anyways, that's just my rant on COVID and that's how I feel.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes, you're welcome. I can tell that was very authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Learn lessons.
Yeah. Is that comfortable the way you're sitting? Can I ask?
Yeah, this is how I always sit everywhere.
Look, you could take a nap in this.
Okay.
She does take naps on this couch.
Story time.
It's back in the story time.
Yeah, no, I just gotta let them know.
Okay, let them know. People want to know.
People want to know. I get done from interning or working. I come in the youth and I sleep on this green couch for 30 minutes.
We won't talk about the Chick-fil-A sauce stains everywhere.
Don't
look too closely at any of
No.
It's youth ministry. This
They're
couch
definitely not there.
That wasn't
and
me.
and I don't know if you can tell by the way Ben's sitting on that. That's a large pink donut for the record.
It is, and it's also got a lot of stains.
Yeah, don't look too close to that either. But that's a
Really
favorite in
had
the youth
anger.
ministry. Kids love that.
It's so interesting to see how certain kids sit in it.
Yeah.
There's some really interesting moments where I've just been like, oh.
It's almost like I should have had it. I think it's a good test. I should have had it for when you guys interviewed for the internship. Should have had the donut and had you come sit in the donut and see how you sat in the donut. Because I feel like you can learn a lot about somebody. Like Ben sitting in a donut, but he's still in it.
The
and
way they sit.
Well, okay, this is because I tried this. This does not work.
That's
You got your cowboy boots up in the air while you're sitting there?
Yeah, no. So you got to go with this.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
The phone. I saw one kid that was laid on top with his head down in the donut.
Yes.
And I was like, why?
Honestly,
what are you doing? And he
I
just
think
stayed there.
if we turn it on the side and I just sit in it like this, then
With
it
your
might be
leg.
more
You could just lay on it now. Legs kicked
No,
back.
I don't.
It's not very professional. This is a very professional podcast.
Exactly.
Oh,
Kelsey, I don't know what people told you.
okay.
But we're
She's
not
not
having
back.
any fun. This is very professional.
Yeah, no.
Actually,
totally.
you said you were going to have fun and you were going to be funny.
Are you calling me out right now?
I'm just, do you have any jokes or anything? You said this would be funny.
You know who has jokes?
Who's got jokes? Ben?
Ben's got some good dad jokes. Ben,
He's
can't
not a
put me on
dad
the
for the record. We just want to make
not.
that clear.
but
That we know of, that I know of.
Oh, okay.
Ben does not have children, but he's got dad jokes.
Oh.
He's
What
got
You,
that anointing
I
on
got
like
him.
one
him.
right now.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you call?
Put it in your pocket or set it on the ground, man.
What do you call a cow with no legs?
What?
Ground beef.
don't do it. Don't do it.
All right.
That was good. That was
that's
pretty
it.
good.
All right.
Jack's laughing in the front row, so
Yeah.
you got at least one fan.
Griffin too.
Griffin?
Yeah.
Silently.
He's my.
That's 'cause-
he's
are
my
those
super
his?
fan.
Are those his glasses?
He's my super fan.
He is your super fan. You two. We've talked about you two need to probably just get one shirt and one big shirt and
XL.
wear
It
that
will be
together.
happening.
It will.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna make that happen.
Actually, we could use that for a thumbnail picture for one of them.
Oh yeah, it's a good idea.
I like
This is how we do production meetings for the podcast, just live. We just talk through it and see.
Exactly.
Thumbnail of you two in a big shirt.
I like it.
Yeah.
Okay. Think of that. Who's ever editing this, remember that note. Okay, back to topic. Talking about commitment. You guys are in this new season. Is there anything that you guys had to give up to commit to this? Or maybe there's another season in your life where you're like, okay, if I'm going to commit to this, because a lot of us, we're like, oh yeah, I want to commit. I want to do this. I want to do this. And they may be all good things, right? Sports, church, ministries, different things. But sometimes there's stuff you got to give up to commit to what you really want to do or really need to do. Has there been a season like that? Maybe it's now or a different season where you've had to give up something?
Well, I mean, let's be real. This takes up half the week, so we can't work. So we're giving up a lot of money that we could be saving.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
that that's like,
But I didn't
Obviously-
charge you for it.
yeah.
The old internship charged, and no shade to them, but they charged and had more hours.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you did have to make a choice. I mean, you could
Exactly, right.
graduate high school. You could have tried to get a full-time job.
Could have.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I gave up my weekends. I don't have days off.
Yeah, you know what? I don't either. I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of the interns right now is a lot of us just don't have days off. And so it's
Yeah.
making sure you're staying healthy though through those months of like, I still need to take my breaks and like, not burn out, but
right.
Well, and then you have other stuff that you want to do with your friends maybe, or there's this building has so many things going on all the time. We just had a big marriage conference, which obviously you guys aren't married, but you could have volunteered or helped at that. You worked it in the coffee house, right? So, and then there, we got healing schools on Mondays, we got Alpha on Sundays. Like, how do you, balance that time and make sure that you don't get burnt out, or, if you're so committed to all of these things, you show up falling asleep in the internship. Not that you've done that, but there's potential to do that, to be I'm committed in all these areas, but what God's called you to in this internship might start slacking if you're doing everything else. Yeah,
I mean, I know there's definitely that healthy balance of that too, because I know for myself, last year I was here and I did it for a month where I like committed to like interning, working at the coffee house, hanging out with friends, and like I legit got sick and had burnout. And so I think an important part of commitment too is like, okay, don't commit to too many things, because then you also lose that trust, like, well, they're not showing up now, or they're falling asleep. Like making sure that you're balancing that is really important. Like, so you can.
Anything to add, Ben?
Honestly, I had this conversation yesterday with Jack. This is the part of my week that I look forward to. Like this half of the week where I'm not working. Like I just have this today. That's it. Like I go to the gym or whatever in the morning, and then like after this,
subtle flex.
After this, I could go fishing with Griffin. I could do whatever the rest of the night. But like I think that's what's saving me from burnout, I guess. But no, this is definitely the joy of my week. And then I have to go work for 8-hour shifts. I don't want to be an adult
8-hour day. Could not imagine.
I don't want to be an adult yet.
Could not imagine. I don't want to be an adult yet either.
Everyone was laughing at me because I said I worked
I felt bad
in 3 days. And I was like, oh man.
I don't know if you were there. Sunday morning, we were in the volunteer meeting before service. And Ben, they asked how people's weekends were. And Ben was like, man, I had to work. Was it 24 hours in 3 days? And then Pastor Dustin did the math in his head. He's like, that's 3 8-hour shifts. He was like, that's normal. He's like, that's what all of us do. We work 8-hour days. You're an adult now, Ben. You're 18.
Retail is tough. All right. Yeah. I would much rather be busting my butt in a field somewhere or something like I was doing tree service this summer, right? And that was much more enjoyable than stocking shelves. Because
you're moving.
In retail. Because your time probably moves quicker.
I'm the type of person that can't sit still and all that, so I just kind of, I would much rather move around.
Well, let me tell you, 8 hours in youth ministry isn't that easy either. That can be tricky too with these interns all day.
Yeah, it's very tough.
So difficult. These guys make it so difficult. Maybe the last thing that I want to just kind of ask, and we can give it up here, but how do you stay in the moment? How do you stay in this season? It's so easy to look ahead or maybe look back at positively or negatively on what you have done, what you might be doing. How do you stay present in the season that God's called you to be?
I think that's where the commitment comes in.
Yeah.
Like if you're really going to be committed to one season, or the season that you're in, you can't be focused on what you have done or will do, because that'll just cloud the moment that you're in, and you'll start coming in late. Or
I keep attendance, and she has not been late yet, for the record.
That's amazing from you guys.
That's actually super impressive.
That's really cool.
But yeah, no, I mean, just I guess the commitment comes in because you have to have focus, and I think that's part of the definition of commitment, is being focused on one thing. So
yeah. What do you think, Kelsey?
I think for me, being focusing and staying in this season is probably, gosh, I don't even know. That's a great question. Give me 2 seconds.
Give you 2 seconds?
2 seconds.
Because that's already happened. We just had 2 seconds.
Okay, I'm ready.
Was that enough?
Yes, I know what I'm gonna say now. I think lots of times when you're in seasons, for me, I look ahead. I'm a worrier. I naturally think about the future a lot. And so I think for me, it's going in those moments with God, and this is not my plan. This is God's plan. Just legit shoving it. Nope, I have to surrender that. And for me, it's a constant moment of surrendering to God and just doing that consistently is super important for me. I mean, the focus thing too, like it's a really big, like important aspect of doing things, because you can like just start wandering, you know, so.
Yeah, I think, you know, in commitment, a lot of times we think, okay, I made the commitment, now I'm good. But usually commitment is like a continual thing.
Yeah.
Like you have to kind of keep doing it. It's easy to maybe commit to the internship before we get started, but now you got to come in every day or 3 days a week. And, you know, 8:30 in the morning might be earlier than you're used to. Am I still committed then? Or if you're asked to serve somewhere else or do something else, it's easy to say I'm committed, but true commitment, I think, is going to be an every day, sometimes every hour thing where you like have to continually remind yourself to be committed to what God's called you to do.
And I think there's two different types of commitments there. There's like the main commitment, and then there's like sub commitments. Because like you make a commitment to show up to one thing, but then you have to show up on time. You have to get there on time. You have to wake up earlier. And like there's just more commitments that go with that, and it kind of sometimes I guess you could call it an avalanche of commitments, because I think that's where the burnout comes in, is like you think you're doing too much. So
well, and I think I've heard someone say every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else.
Right.
And so a lot of times we don't think of that. We just say yes to yes to yes because we want to help or we want to be committed or we want to do things. But like, understand, if I say yes to this, that means I can't help with this, or I can't do this, or maybe I can't stay home on a Friday night because I'm peopled out because I'm an introvert. Like that's a big thing that I had to learn, was like, just because I'm technically free that night doesn't mean like I'm available to do something that night. Sometimes you need to take a break. And you mentioned earlier, like going fishing with Griffin, like you also need like things that refuel you, things that keep you, that you enjoy, things that you like, because I think it's also easy to start to get burnt out. So you're like, okay, I'm just not going to do anything at all then. But you can get, just because you're resting doesn't mean you're getting rest, doesn't mean you're getting recharged, right? Like you have to have things in your life that refuel you and that get you excited. And your calendar might get full, but with good stuff, with fun stuff, and maybe that, you know, charges you, re-energizes you. And that's a good thing to have too.
I just want to say one thing quick. I think with being committed too, like your attitude is such an important thing. Like if you start to do all these things,
don't be a Debbie Downer.
If you start to do all these things and you're saying yes to a lot of things, like, and then you start getting a negative attitude and bitterness, like, oh, I have to go in again. I don't want to hang out with my friends. I'm tired. I just want to be at home. Or like, I have to volunteer. Like, getting that attitude will immediately bring you down, and your commitment levels are gonna like go down with that. Like, and
negatively affect those around you too. Like that's a big thing. Like if one person in the room starts complaining, everybody's going to as well. Like,
so keeping that attitude and like making sure you're aware of that is super important. Like, I need to do this and be positive and just, you know, follow through with that. Like, which takes commitment and focus and time and practice. And so making sure you're walking that out.
And I'll just say kind of my last thoughts, and I'll let you guys say something if you want to too. But this idea of commitment of this season, like you guys are in the internship. That's what this season looks like. For me, it's a new season because I'm doing this internship for the first time, leading this internship. But whatever season of life you find yourself in, when you guys are done with this internship, when you're on to something else, there's different seasons. Maybe someone watching this is in high school. Maybe you have a new job. Maybe you're getting sick of your old job, but God still has you there for that season. It's so important to commit to that season, be a part of that season, and really be there in that season, all in, paying attention, good attitude, showing up on time, being there, and really doing what you've committed to do, what you've told God that you will do for this season.
And not like looking too far ahead in that moment of like, just, I know like God has this calling on my life, and being patient with that. Because I think too with the commitment part, like if you want something, you're like, I want to know. It's like a patience thing. Just, I'd say that, like really being intentional about not overthinking your future. Just something.
That's good.
That really connects to honestly what my last thoughts are, is like, if you think about it in a sport, right? You were talking about how they were quitting because your nephew's team was quitting because they were losing, right? Well, sometimes we get like overwhelmed and we just think of the outcome, right? And we already know the outcome of our lives. Like, we're all gonna die. We're all gonna go to
We're
heaven
gonna
though
heaven.
if
Spoiler
you
alert.
leave, right? And I just think like commitment to me is like God committed to us. Like he's already saved us. He won already. Like
That's good,
that's
man.
a
Yeah.
yeah. So now the commitment is just getting us to like our calling. We have to stay committed to that and finish that out in order to, I mean, please God, to just really be the best you also. So, yeah. I mean, that just kind of, I don't know, I guess being focused on what's going on and not like, oh, you know, God already won, so what am I here for? And then getting lazy and complacent and comfortable in life. And I think we just need to stay in the growth spot, you know?
Just like got me like the comfortable thing. Like
Yeah.
growth and commitment is not comfortable. You're
No,
not
it's
gonna be
not.
comfortable. Like
I'm not a
That's
big
good.
like stage speaker, and like last year on senior night, I mean,
Yeah.
that was pretty obvious.
You did
in my
really
opinion.
good.
In my
No.
opinion.
I thought it was great.
yeah.
Thanks, guys. But
But it's important to step out of your comfort zone a little
Yeah.
bit, right? Yeah.
and that's another opportunity that we have through the internship. Is
Yeah.
like we could all get on stage if we wanted to. So
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for taking the time. Thank you guys for watching for this first episode of Generation Now podcast. We'll try to do these every week, have some different guests, different interns will be on and stuff too. Should be a lot of fun. So stick around on this journey as we all learn and grow together. How's that?
that's good.
Is that good?
That's good.
All right.